Cracking. Let's get a new term. A new term describes the inner struggle of appearing fine while privately experiencing significant mental distress. Unlike quiet quitting, which is a conscious decision to disengage, quiet cracking is often unconscious unraveling behind a facade of normalcy. It's a person who consistently meets deadlines and contributes in meetings but goes home, cries, experiences panic attacks, or struggles with debilitating anxiety or depression. This phenomenon underscores how effectively individuals can mask their suffering in a professional setting. So, I was kind of thinking of quiet cracking when I was watching Coco Gauff. So, I talk about tennis. So, if you're new to this podcast, hi, I'm Dr. Jen Blanchett, and I talk with you about burnout and therapists and mental health professionals. And sometimes I talk about tennis, and sometimes the two like come together. And I'm so happy that that is the case this week because it is US Open season. That is tennis. And Coco Gauff is an American tennis player. And there was a whole controversy with Taylor Townsend and microaggressions that I will, if people want me to talk about it, I will give a hot take. But I want to get to this and how it's related to this concept. But I was watching her play. So she's number 4 in the world and maybe she's 21. I think she's 21. I think she's 21 ish. And throughout the tournament, she has been crying like between games, in between sets. And after the match, she's been visibly emotional and upset. And people are kind of, being like, is it too much for her? Is the pressure too much for her? And my first response is like, how can the pressure of being a top tennis player not be a lot of pressure for people? How doesn't everyone not break down in tears in these settings? So that's my first take on that. I think so she's not quiet cracking. She was having cracks that were coming out. And I think when we get to that point, that was starting to happen to me where I was feeling like I couldn't control my emotions. So I was beyond the quiet cracking phase of really like I continued to show up. And why it made me think of Coco is she is winning at a high level. And those little bursts of emotions that are coming up is her body telling her, I can't hold this pressure. And I think that parallel and why I love athletes is because they have to operate at the highest level. Their mental health has to operate at the highest level to take that amount of scrutiny, to be under that amount of pressure, and to put your body through that many things. So I love the parallels with athletes and what they give us because I think it is like Mach 10, which you have to do to be a professional athlete. And so thinking of that and seeing her response to what happened at the US Open, and number one, I feel for her. I am a tennis player. I've played tennis all my life, and I have so much drama sometimes about how I play, and it's very low stakes. There is no money on the line. I don't have millions of dollars on the line, just my pride. And I actually did EMDR on myself for my tennis game. And at the root, when I wasn't playing well, it was embarrassment. I was embarrassed about losing or about not hitting the way I wanted to hit. And so I kind of had to when I got to that core of feeling shame and embarrassment with not having my top level tennis play of the day, because I think at my core I am an athlete. I love to train, I love to lift weights, and I think it's a great tool. It can also be very detrimental on our mental health. And I think at the highest levels we see that in our athletes. Um, but why this quiet cracking, I think new thing is coming out is because I think for a lot of therapists and people that are showing up every day in, day out, they appear fine on the surface. They appear as if things are going well. I know therapists that tell me week after week that they're just showing up, that they are holding space and falling apart after. And so I think this term can be helpful in describing an experience of going to work, showing up, and the aftermath is that literally you are falling apart. I think what it fails to capture is that perhaps we have a real mental health concerns that we need addressed. And as I have found out doing this podcast, we don't have great research for therapist mental health. We don't have great intervention. And we know our mental health system is obviously broken.